your director was he
I
Nigerian?
swear. I swear.
Yes, that's right.
Sorry,
If the director wasn't Nigerian, then it counts.
I swear.
I don't understand you.
The director, his name sounded.
Okay, let me ask. So, who was the director? Who was the director of the first Nigerian movie Palava? Please let us know.
Suleiman, the director of the first Nigerian movie, Palaver, was Jeffrey Barkas, a British filmmaker. Interestingly, Barkas
We win,
was
we
not only
win.
the director of the film, but also
Oh,
wrote and
boss,
produced
boss,
the
We
make
win.
you
entire
don't mind himself.
He's known for
Because
his work
British,
in
yeah, if we saw there, like, you know.
Who was the first Nigerian movie director that produced the film?
Fire, you see this one, eh? Okay. Was entirely written and produced by a British filmmaker named George
Yeah,
Barkas,
Slave Master.
who I mentioned earlier.
You
No,
know?
I'm asking. the first
No,
Nigerian
fire.
movie
The same thing we have.
director.
Fire.
Who produced the first Nigerian movie?
Bro.
Director. First Nigerian movie director.
We were a director here named Makufu. So Makufu be.
No, bro, make I tell us something, sir. Make I tell us something. The one we get same thing here. Ghanaian cinema officially.
No, hold on.
I'm coming. Let me land, please. You can
Okay.
Google it.
Okay.
Which year did Ghana started movie?
No, I just wanted to make a point.
No,
I wanted to make a point. During that era, you know Femi Jacobs. No,
Bro,
now
listen.
he's not
Bro,
Femi
come-
Jacobs.
Bro, listen.
No.
Oh.
Now I will yield for you. But just hold on. Let me just push this one out. You see, during this era, before we leave this conversation, you see this era, Femi Jacob is still alive today. Many of those guys there was that collaboration between the British and Nigeria. She gets. So that's why it's even funny when you even get people say, oh, they started it first. Whereas these guys are already doing that collaboration. You just heard the one you heard about Jesse Kuti, that his first music studio had a collaboration with Warners. That was what was going on in the era. So you can go ahead, Dipoti. Let's have your own facts.
Anything you try to, anything you try, we're ahead of you, miles ahead. Not a joke. I'm
Fire.
sorry, I don't like comparison.
As you do your own. It be which year?
1920.
Okay, same thing with the British colony.
It was the same. It was the same Nigerian movie that was premiered in Ghana.
I'm coming. Same thing. Ghana's cinema, officially known as Black Star Films, begins in 1923 when early filmmaker was introduced to the British colony of Gold Coast, known Ghana. At the time, only the wealthy could see the films, particularly the colony masters of the Gold Coast. Ghanaian filmmakers began to flourish in the 1950s. So you see, when you
Google Nigeria on.
Make a Google Nigeria. Okay, make a Google Nigeria. Google Nigeria on.
Google.
Nigeria, they say Nigeria.
That song it flop. That song is it flop like stew.
Are you listening to me?
Go ahead, sir.
Nigeria's film industry dates back to a time when colony filmmakers produced films from local audience. These films such as Palava, 1926, and Sanders of the River in 1935, cast Nigerian actors in speaking roles and then were showing in hills nationwide to 10 audience or something. So according to here, Nigeria started in 1926. So Ghana started 1923.
No.
Okay. I take us.
You don't listen to when I Google them. He said when I asked ChatGPT, he said 1923.
I don't know where you get them.
Okay, please
Fire.
repeat
Check
again.
Ghana own. Fire. I said right now. Check Ghana
again.
And then check Nigeria own.
The first Nigerian movie
Fire.
All right, I hear you.
I beg, check Ghana in own and check Nigeria in own. I think send you.
Which year did Ghana
ever made is often considered to be Palaver, which was released in 1926. It was directed by Jeffrey Barkas, a British filmmaker who worked in Nigeria at the time.
Okay. And the first Ghanaian movie.
first Ghanaian movie ever made is often considered to be Zinabu, which was released in
The Zinabu will not be true.
by William Akufo and Richard Cordy.
Zinabu is yours, 80. In fact, if we even make we leave that one alone. Make we come to Mirror in the Sun, which was in the 70s. Yeah. So let's leave colonial era. Make we come back. Let's come down to when the two countries started movies on their own independently. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, that let's leave the colonial era. When we stand on our own. When was Ghana? Which was Ghanaia's first movie?
Nine be the Zinabu no.
Zinabu, and that was 1987, and we in the 1930s.
Nah.
No.
Zinabu was 87.
Yeah, Zinabu in 1987. Yeah, around the 1930s. Anything where you want to talk, from movies, anything, culture, pop culture, na Nigeria get them. Now we don't open eye. The oldest man in Canada is a Nigerian. He's 103 years old.
There's a Ghanaian movie. There's a Ghanaian movie called "I Told You So." It's in 60s or 70s.
Hold on, make I ask ChatGPT.
Yeah.
The Ghanaian music I told you so.
Ghanaian movie. I told you so. No music. Movie.
The Ghanaian movie I told you so. When was it recorded?
1970. 1970.
So when you check,
I apologize if I'm misunderstanding your question. Are you asking when the first Ghanaian movie was recorded? If so, as I mentioned earlier, the first Ghanaian movie is generally considered.
There's one I told you so. It's a Ghanaian movie. So when was it recorded?
I apologize, Suleiman. I'm not familiar with a Ghanaian movie called I Told You So. Is this a different movie from the first Ghanaian movie we discussed, which was Zinabu?
Yeah, this is a different one from the first one. This is the
context or information about this movie.
This is different from the first one we discussed. The title is I Told You So. Please, when was it recorded and released?
Bro, you can check it yourself. Forget that guy. Just
okay.
Check it yourself.
The guy.
That's what I said on 1970.
1970.
Make you forget that.
Ours dates back to the 1930s. Ours dates back to the 1930s.
Which movie?
You understand? 1930s. We don't release movie.
Which movie?
Make I ask ChatGPT again. Please tell us the movies from Nigeria in the 1930s.
Oh, if you ask them like this, then we will ask.
Suleiman, it seems that there weren't many Nigerian films produced in the 1930s, as the industry was still in its infancy and largely controlled by British colonial authorities. The few films that were made during this time were primarily produced by British filmmakers, with only limited involvement from Nigerian actors or filmmakers. The earliest Nigerian feature film, Palaver, was produced in 1926 by a British filmmaker named Geoffrey Barkas. This film is often considered the first Nigerian movie, as it was the first film to feature Nigerian actors in speaking roles. During the 1930s and 1940s, most films screened in Nigeria were produced by foreign filmmakers and exhibited in commercial cinema houses established by companies like the West African Pictures Company. It wasn't until the 1950s and beyond that Nigerian filmmakers began to gain more independence and control over their own film industry.
So tell us about the movies from the 1950s.
Suleiman, during the 1950s, the Nigerian film industry was still developing, and many of the films produced were made by foreign filmmakers. However, there were some notable Nigerian films produced during this time, such as Nigeria Greets Her Queen, 1957, Pincho, 1950s, and Freedom, 1950s. After Nigeria gained independence from Britain in 1960, the cinema business expanded rapidly. But there was also a significant influx of foreign films from countries like the United States, India, China, and Japan.
So we started independently in 1957.
1957.
1957. Yes.
No, listen to him very carefully. Ask him the question again. He says still.
Listen, let me tell you what he said. He said,
don't tell me. No, say it. Ask him again so that he says so that we listen.
Please listen well. Listen well. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You said there were Nigerian, the movie industry was still being controlled by the British in 1950s. However, there were some Nigerian movies notable. Please mention those ones that were made by Nigerians.
Based on my research, there were several notable Nigerian films produced in the 1950s, including Fincho, directed by Sam Zeba, and Freedom, directed by Vernon Messenger. Both of these films were significant for their use of Nigerian actors and local content. Additionally, in the late 1950s, the Nigerian Film Unit was established to decentralize colonial film production and produce more Africanized content. The Colonial Film Unit...
So you heard that we don't start movies independently since 1950s. There's nothing you started before us. Nothing. Not in any case. Not anything. I want you to know that. You know why I want you to know that? So that this narrative way that they create for Ghana media, say we taught them this, we started this before them. Nothing. In fact, one of your
Charlie, the palaver say if you don't be weird like that too, that one too the British know.
Yes, now. Don't leave that one, sir. Now, nothing. I want clear one misconception where they don't create. You get one guy, one OG for Ghanaian movie industry. He came on air and said that Nigeria learned movie from Ghana. He now mentioned that Zach Oji was coming to learn from them. In fact, when Nollywood started, Ghana never starts. Now later, Ghana can start to do movie, as in when during VHS era. Now much later, then Ghana movie can start. So I wonder where number one we say, why all these talks? Why those we started it because Nigeria never did that. Why I want to understand where that is coming from, because if you ask me what that means, I think it's a show of inferiority complex, because one person is doing well, so you want to give yourself reason to be happy. There's no need for all that.
No, listen, bro. You see what you're saying? No, I get you. The angle that you're coming from. But you see, the history that we learn and the history that we know is we started these things, as we are talking about who started it and who didn't started it, or who started it before.
We never
listen.
Who started
you
it.
See, when you check in the era of before, as you're saying about the Nollywood and everything, before Nigeria would name its own Nollywood, Ghana were doing movies, but there's no name of the movie industry. The time of the Diabolos, the time of the Bukum Lion, can it be? Those times, those movies, they don't have a name for industry for the movies. You get me? So the time that Nigerians start doing movies way back. The movies start going across Africa and everything. That one, there's no two ways about that. But what we are discussing about, even the music and the movie, on paper, Ghanaians. But today, as you asked the Google was saying that you guys started it. But when you check the British colony and everything, they are the one that directing the movies and everything. Same thing applies to Ghana in the 1923s and everything is the British. But when you ask them,
I just asked when did we start independently? It says 1957. You started 1980 something. You understand?
That's not true. I was telling you the 1983. The 1980 that you had mentioned about, the 1923, even the one that I told you about, I told you so. I told you so was strictly Ghanaian movie, Ghanaian directors, Ghanaian everything. There's no any.
Which year was it? Which year was it?
That was the 1970. I forget.
Okay, even if it's 1970s, we started in 1950s.
Even in I'm coming. Even in 1950s, I saw some movies that we started in 1950.
No, you didn't start movies in 1950.
No. We started moving in not the time that Nkrumah collected the independence. There are a lot of things that we are doing in this country that the African continent they are not aware of it. But Ghana is doing it.
I Told You So was in 1970. I Told You So. I'm looking at it now. I Told You So. Let me read from Wikipedia. I Told You So is a 1970 Ghanaian movie. The movie portrays Ghanaian and their way of life in a satirical style. It also gives insights into the life of a young lady who did not take the advice of a blah, 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 blah. Yes, 1970. We started in 1957. Nothing we learn from Una. I just want to clear that thing. Say, we don't learn anything from Una. Nothing. Nothing. In fact, if it's anything to go by, now Una suppose even learn from us. Why? We're a bigger nation, we're a more populated nation, we're a more ethnically diverse nation. So now we get culture pass. Now we strong for culture pass. So now supposed to learn from us, not we learning from you. Because we are bigger in terms of population, we are bigger in terms of ethnicity, we are bigger in terms of size. So now we get more to offer, not you. So now supposed to learn from us, not you learning from you. And mind you, the pop culture, Nigeria is big in pop culture. So no way we want to. There's nothing that Ghana has that Nigeria needs. Nothing. Now the level.
I agree to now.
Boss, I hear. Welcome, sir.
I agree to now.
I did talk something first. You understand? Because one of your stars, big star, he came on TV and said Sarkozy came to learn movie from them. We started a movie industry that was established. Very established. Long before Gollywood came up. So tell me, which area? No area where we not take senior Ghana. No area. Not be say we senior now small. We senior now well. Far. So I don't know for anybody to come on TV to come to talk all those things with Ghanaian media they talk. It means that because number one, there's no basis for it. So for anybody to say it, it means therefore that person is feeling inferior. And that's a bad thing. That's a bad place to be at.
Yeah. Anyway, I only get 5 minutes at the break, but what's in the party talk and blind and true. Because I remember when my grandmama, my grandpapa, when they married, I realized they only they dance for the occasion. Because no music that time, they're not the same. They dance. Now from there, some Ghanaians consider say, what's on the dance to now? So now from there, Ghanaians want to teach them, say no, see how you could sing before you dance. So we went to the potty talk, did they correct?
Of course, you know well at all.
Yeah. Anyway, my break don't finish. You know, so they also and the US today. So later. Yeah.
All right. People beg those narratives we want to push for our media. Make them change them. It doesn't make sense. Well, number one is that it's not healthy. Number two, there's no competition. Even if you start them, it doesn't mean anything. Even if it's not true. The reason we are making this talk is that we just want those things to end. And there's no fight. If you start to give you your credit, we don't. So we South Africa start at Amapiano. Global. But we see the Bernardian still get them. There's no need, sir.
I beg, ask ChatGPT, say GPT or whatever they call them. Say where they do the first cinema for?
Okay, the first cinema in Africa.
Yeah.
No, now 1920s now. Both Ghana and Nigeria.
Or the same time?
I think so, yeah. Now 1920s.
People where you bigger pastors, why they go do?
Where was the first cinema in Africa created?
I bet they say do in West Africa.
Oh, hang on.
The first cinema in Africa was established in Cairo, Egypt in 1896, just a few months after the first public film screening in Paris by the Lumiere brothers.
How about in West Africa?
It's Ghana, 1877.
In West West Africa, the history of cinema is closely tied to the colonial era. While cinema houses were slow to spread in the region, by the mid-20th century, colonial administrations began using film as a tool to convey colonial culture to African subjects. Both British and French colonials saw film as a means to shape public opinion and promote their own agendas. However, it's important to note that West African filmmakers like Ousmane Sembene of Senegal and Hubert Ogunde of Nigeria also began producing films that showcased the region's rich cultural heritage and challenged colonial narratives. These filmmakers played a crucial role in shaping the development of West African cinema and pushing back against colonial influences.
What year was this?
The earliest West African films emerged in the 1950s and 1960s during the post-colonial era. Some notable early West African films include Afrique sur Scène, 1955, by Paulin Soumano Vieira, Senegal; Les Bouts de Bois de Dieu, 1960, by Gaston Kabore, Burkina Faso; Black Girl, 1966, by Ousmane Sembene, Senegal; Harvest, 3,000 Years, 1976, by Haile Gerima, Ethiopia. These films, along with many others from the region, helped to establish West African cinema as a powerful force.
How about Nigeria? When was the first cinema created?
When it draws GB.
In Nigeria, the first feature film was Palaver, which was produced in 1926 by...
I mean cinema culture, not the film.
I see what you're asking now, Suleiman. The cinema culture in Nigeria developed gradually with the establishment of the first cinema houses in the early 20th century. The Glover Memorial Hall in Lagos, which was built in 1887, began showing films in 1903, making it one of the earliest...
1903. It was built in 1887 and it started in
1877. Same thing, Ghana, 1877.
Okay, so that is settled. Now, the thing, which I just want.
Yes, that's right, Suleiman.
Yeah.
The Glover Memorial Hall was built in 1887, but it wasn't until 1903 that it began showing films.
Okay.
So the building itself was constructed before cinema culture developed in Nigeria, but it later...
When did the cinema culture in Ghana start?
Cinema culture in Ghana has a rich history dating back to the early 20th century. Some notable milestones include 1923, introduction of early film...
The same, 1923.
Yeah, that's what I said, the same thing.
So the thing is, no, I started in 1903. You started in 1923.
Charlie.
Yes, 1903. You started in 1923.
It's 1923. It's not 1903.
No, I started in 1903. The building was put up in 1887.
Same thing, the building in Ghana, I was reading it here. In Ghana, the building was built in 1887.
Not when the buildings, it was when the movie started. It was 1903. Yours was 1920.
They said 1923. It didn't say 1923.
So ours was 1903.
It said 1923, not 03.
I'll repeat it again. No, the ChatGPT know they run now.
That this ChatGPT in Nigeria
sorry, please repeat again. When did the Nigerian movie culture start? So that you hear.
Suleiman, the Nigerian movie culture began to develop in the early 20th century, with the earliest known film screenings taking place in Lagos as early as 1903.
1903.
However, it wasn't until the 1920s and...
1903. You heard that? Just started in 1923. Everything we start before now. Everything. So those things when I talk for the media.
Baba, independence, who connect our first?
Yes, of course, we give that one. That will not be issue. Everybody knows Ghana was the first country to gain independence in Africa. That's not an issue. Well, and another thing is that we are not dragging anything with you. We are just coming to correct the impression that you people have. It's simple. Do you understand? Because those things were spoken out of emotions. And one person ain't will talk and the rest people will carry them. And they are not true.
Which emotion?
Which
emotion is that?
Yes, now because all these things are lies. You understand? Abraham Ohenejan came out and said that TikTok, D'banj was begging TikTok to feature in his music, and TikTok turned him down because he was too small, and that was a lie.
But bros, you see, let me tell you something. No. Listen. There's no two ways about that at that time, because Tony Totula was bigger before D'banj came in. So if TikTok was bigger at that time, if Ibrahim Injang was there, and then maybe D'banj approach, and that one is normal. It do happen.
It's a lie. Why is it a lie?
Why?
Okay, good. D'banj was doing music in the UK.
It's not big. Nobody know him.
Listen to me now. I'm not saying whether it was big or not. I didn't say. Did I say it was big? He was doing music in the UK with JJC and 419 Squad. This guy, DJ Skills, was the leader of that band. Don Jazzy, D'banj, JJC Skills, Cass Beats, and a host of them. They were a group in London that time doing music. So D'banj dropped from that group in 2005 and came to Nigeria and released Mobolo 11. TikTok was running in 2003, 2004.
You don't know. Don't say that.
It's a lie.
Listen.
It's a lie, bro.
Listen to me, bro. You don't know.
It never happened.
But listen. I beg you, talk. I want to tell you. I want to correct you. TikTok released his first song, big song, catch the whole Ghana in 1999. TikTok.
1919.
Yeah,
Okay.
Go and check.
No, I agree with you.
Yeah, from the 1999, from the 2000s, TikTok was big.
In Ghana, not in. It wasn't in Nigeria.
No, listen, TikTok. I want to let you know something. TikTok was big. Even the MTV base came and shot a video for him, featuring Samini. That was Kangaroo song, and those song was huge song in Africa.
That song did not enter Nigeria.
No, you are lying, bro.
I swear.
No.
Any Nigerian here, please talk. That song did not enter Nigeria. I swear to God.
Bro, listen.
It didn't enter Nigeria.
Don't listen.
Sorry, sir. Your artists were big in your country.
But you say you even say before you were saying something. Listen, before you say something about TikTok, VIP, their song start making wave in TikTok. VIP came out in 1998. From the
only
2000s.
Awonka will enter Nigeria.
No.
Only Awonka will enter Nigeria.
I'm coming. Before VIP would do song in Awonka, VIP was doing collaboration with Kenny's Music.
When?
In the 2000 and 2004, I think the 2002, 2003, or
no, 2002, 2003 is a lie. It never happened. The only time VIP broke into Nigeria was through Awonka Onu, and it was when Kenny's Music had that collaboration with Goodies Music. You understand? So they broke into the Nigerian market. That was the first ever in the new generation. That was the first ever Ghanaian music to break into Nigerian space.
That's not true.
And that was it. No other music had broken before that time. And after that one hit, no other song apart from when they jumped on that freestyle with Wande Cole and Talk to You by Wizkid. No other of those guys' songs entered Nigeria. Never. It never did. So TikTok, it was only Fefe Nefe. After Fefe Nefe, we didn't know any other of his songs.
Fefe Nefe is which year? Fefe Nefe is which year?
Fefe Nefe should be 2004, 2005, I think. You understand? After that one, no other of his song, TikTok song, entered Nigeria. Tiny, that is rap. Only one. No, the first Ghanaian to hit Nigerian music space more than once. First Ghanaian, Sarkodie. Before then, no other Ghanaian song. From Danfo Driver days, we don't enter Ghana. Daddy Shoki, we don't enter Ghana. Name it.
No, Daddy Shoki doesn't have any big song in Ghana. Danfo Driver, fine. But
okay,
Daddy Shoki never have a big song in Ghana.
Okay, I agree with you. But from Danfo Driver days, we
But
don't enter Ghana. And all that period, all the hits in Nigeria were hits in Ghana, but only those one songs let me tell you.
Yeah.
One name we the miss we actually penetrate Ghana. Wow. ask me Abikidi if I know him. Be
Idris Abdul Karim.
Raskimono.
Oh,
Thank you very
Raskimono,
much.
yeah, Raskimono is fine. Raskimono, yeah, big time.
Thank you very much.
Raskimono is huge here.
Thank you very much. Majek Fashe.
Makini